Hello, in this video we're going to discuss how to measure the spring force of the lifter and how to make necessary adjustments afterwards. The tools needed for these measurements and adjustments are a spring pressure gauge and adjustment tool, a can height spacer, a 1/8 Allen wrench, and a top plate. Everything except the Allen wrench is included with the purchase of a Cody toolbox. To begin, jog to home or can at dwell start and raise the lifter. Next, place the can height spacer. This particular seamer is set up for 16-ounce cans. However, if the machine is set up for another can size, use the appropriate combination of spacer blocks provided with the spring force gauge. Now place the gauge on top of the block and the top plate on the gauge dimple side down. The starting point for this measurement is going to be just after the initial contact with the chuck. To get to that point, turn the top of the spring force gauge until the spacer on top makes contact with the chuck. Continue turning the top by hand until the needle on the front gauge begins to move. Once that needle begins to move, release the pressure you applied to return the needle to zero while still under very slight tension. Around the top of the gauge, there are markings at 10,000ths of an inch increments from 0 to 50 thousandths. Between the top dial and the body of the gauge is the indicator for how much we've deflected or compressed the spring. The spring deflects 30 thousandths of an inch during each seam, so this will be the target spring deflection. Now rotate the wire around until it lines up with one of the 10,000ths of an inch increments. This serves as an arbitrary start point, so don't worry about placing it at any particular spot. From here, grab the provided tool and put it in one of the holes in the top dial so that the gauge can be dialed counterclockwise. Now rotate the dial a total of 30 thousandths of an inch to get the spring force measurement, which is indicated on the front gauge. Our indicator was set at 20 thousandths, so we will rotate to 0. But remember, your start point is arbitrary. If you start at any other number, just ensure you rotate the micrometer a total of 30 thousandths of an inch. Remember the readout or write it down if needed. The target spring force is anywhere from 95 to 120 depending on can manufacturer specs. However, typically the Cody seamer produces better seams between 110 and 120. Using the provided tool, lower the micrometer and reverse the procedure so all the pieces can be removed and adjustments to the spring pressure can be made. Be sure to lower enough until the top plate, gauge, and can height spacer can be safely removed. Now lower the lifter, grab your 1/8 Allen wrench, and locate the set screw in the center of the lifter pad. Using the long end of the Allen, turn the set screw. It has been found that one full rotation of the set screw is roughly the equivalent to 12 pounds of pressure. For the adjustment, take the difference between the measured value and the target spring pressure. Divide this number by 12 to estimate the number of turns needed. A counterclockwise turn will result in less pressure, a clockwise turn more. Now repeat the measuring process to double check the adjustment. Repeat as needed to get the desired spring force and seam analysis.